Michael, would you like to explain to the folks what the Institute for Scientific Validation does, if you're not in academia?
Absolutely. The words were chosen to actually say what we do: validate scientifically things that are needing academic validation, independent validation. So the Institute is a 501c3. It's philanthropically funded and driven, and it stands as a very unique platform to go and validate medical opportunities, or what we call medical miracles, to be able to substantially prove that they work where otherwise many of these opportunities just wouldn't make it through the process, perhaps because they may be commercially threatening to other types of treatments. As a philanthropically funded platform, we're able to go and not have to answer to Wall Street, et cetera, and really bring products that work through this process of getting the unbiased scientific validation. So let me just take a step backwards and talk about what that means. Unbiased scientific validation is when the bias of who sponsors the studies is removed, okay, so that they're genuine and that they look at all of the opportunities to ensure that they're done in a way that will not be refuted later down the road by perhaps a competing product, if you will. The Institute is a one-of-a-kind platform where these types of medical miracles come to us for us to match the philanthropy and then match the best-in-class research universities to do the validation.
Kind of figured out as to where you're going to send it. So when the donations come in, okay, and by the way, folks, you can actually donate to the Institute for Scientific Validation at, and it's
www.TIFSV.org.
Yes. Oh, there it is.
I need to share with you a personal story so you'll understand why I've shifted to be the front of the spear of the philanthropic component. It's almost a year today when I got a phone call that my wife wasn't feeling well, and we went to the hospital to find out what was wrong with her. And she was diagnosed with stage 4 renal cell carcinoma of the brain, and her life expectancy was not very favorable. And it was at that moment where the whole world of like chaos and just sadness and impact of, you know, a medical devastating
diagnosis,
that comes to you, that I saw the world differently for that moment. I saw it as, wow, this happens to a lot of people.
Yes.
Right? And they may not have options. They may just listen and follow whatever is what they think is the best advice that they're getting, and it may be the best advice.
Or not.
And fortunately for me, and I didn't realize this initially, I had a network of amazing people from around the world with amazing products already in our pipeline. And as we started down the traditional paths of trying, of doing the things that we had to do, there came a point in time where we just had to say, what else? What other opportunities are there? And that was a big shift, because I went from being the CEO of a corporation to the client. And there's not a lot of people that have these kinds of opportunities in their life. And so some things that may be further down in the pipeline of what we were working on immediately came to the front, because now I was in a race to save my wife's life.
Right.
And I spent countless evenings just on my bed, just crying, thinking, oh my God, this is the worst thing. And I realized there are so many other people that have the same experience, and they don't know, there's nothing else to do.
Right. Just go through the regular chemo.
Go through, whatever it is. Whatever. And that's when I said, damn it, I got a responsibility here. There are medical miracles that are used around the world for these things, but for whatever is the reason, lack validation here in the United States. Perhaps a lot of it is because it wasn't invented here, right? So there's that whole not invented here kind of thing. For me, it's not about that. For me, it's all about, does it work? And if it works, let's prove it does, and let's bring it to the people that are in the distribution. Yeah. Everybody's got to win, right?
Yes.
So
definitely.
So
they just don't know it yet.
From a passionate point of view, everything changed. The shift to, hey, I'm running a business became a shift to, oh my God, I have a responsibility of saving people's lives. And that's huge. And so I took it on full force and really started to take some of these amazing things and bringing them into some of the best universities around the country to get their attention to say, what should we do? And so we've got an incredible anti-cancer drug that is in trials right now. That is why we've got the agreement signed, if you will. It already has an FDA orphan drug approval.
Orphan drug approval.
And
Cool.
now I have to just get the philanthropic funding to finish
The studies,
Get the
yes,
studies.
yeah.
They don't even have to be finished. We just have to have enough traction where we can then get them into distribution. And here's the thing. These are not billion-dollar 10-year paths, right? These are fractions.
These are going to be fast track.
They're
Once
all-
the validation
well,
is done.
So remember, we're not developing these drugs. They're already
Right,
developed.
they're already done.
They're already
Right,
used
right,
around
they're
the world.
already- yeah.
They're already a thing, right?
And they may be in other countries where they've been used for 40 years and with great success.
Sure.
But here in the U.S., because we're not allowed to do that kind of thing,
Well, guess what? We are. The philanthropy has
Yes.
a crazy license because it's not answering to corporate America
Yep.
or shareholders or profit.
That's
But
right.
the mission is do the
no
right
greed,
thing.
no greed.
Do the right thing.
Impact,
So
no
how do you
greed.
improve the human condition? See, that conversation, no one can argue against.
No, they can't.
And when you can show how everyone is going to win in this, no one can argue. So when my friends say to me, how the heck do you get up, go to work, and go fight this fight? Well, I'm fighting it because you know what? There's going to be a point where someone in your family, if not yourself, is going to get one of these same crazy events happen in their life that alter the path that you're on. And I want to make sure that you've got some other opportunities, some other available that are proven, that are accepted opportunities that don't necessarily kill you like some
Right,
of
they
the
don't have
things that
the
happen
side
now.
effects, non-toxic.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
So the
all
one that we-
natural,
so the one that we
things that are
have-
from the ocean.
This
things
one
that
that
are-
we have now, Faith, is all natural
Yep.
and non-toxic.
and that's an anti-cancer drug.
And
That's
it's an
the one-
anti-cancer drug, and it's an orphan drug, an FDA orphan drug. So
that.
when you talk about non-toxic, those are words that are just not spoken normally. Now, the great news is we're not a pharmaceutical company trying to compete with pharmaceutical companies, right?
Exactly.
We're just trying to validate it, and then whatever pharmaceutical company wants to distribute it, that's great.
Yep.
But
Come
the side effects,
sit at our table.
the side effects are that you get better.
Right. Ooh, that's really a terrible side effect, right?
It's crazy. I try to live my life and say, there's the silver lining, right? When things happen.
Exactly, and that's what we talked about before the show, is that something so devastating to your entire family, okay? The entire structure of your life, your business, your bride, your children, everything got turned upside down and inside out.
Amen.
And what you did is you took that and said, you know what? Running a business is a beautiful thing, but man, when you flip this around and you do something to have impact and legacy for other people, are you kidding me? Whole different level.
And it complements the business anyway. So they all work
true.
together. They all work
Exactly.
together. I want to tell you about a second one. Unfortunately, there's a lot of pain with cancer,
Right.
especially the kind
Ugh.
that my wife has. And we couldn't find anything that could help her. And then out of the blue, I get contacted. We've got something for you to try. And we try it, and it immediately works.
Immediately. Did you say immediately?
Yeah, in fact, when I went to pick it up, the woman said, looks like you have, a backache, which I did, but it wasn't her business that I did. And so she yanks up my shirt, rubs it on me, and I'm like, there's no way that this is working. There's got to be some kind of psychological voodoo happening here.
Right.
But it was. So when I got home, my wife rubbed it on her temples right here,
Right.
and her headache went away. That she couldn't get rid of for weeks, and she was on, like, everything.
Yeah.
These folks learn what we're doing, and we sign an agreement because it just works like this. It's unbelievable. And we have a great university signed up to do that validation study as well. Here again, it's not something that you ingest. It's all natural. It's crazy stuff. And it
Love it.
absolutely works. It's just a matter of getting the scientific validation behind it. And you would say, well, why can't they get it on their own, right? Well, maybe they don't have the money, maybe they don't have the funding. There's a lot of reasons why it's blocked.
Or
There's
they're not
political
connected.
reasons why it's blocked.
Right, exactly. Political reasons, especially if it's coming from another country.
Yeah.
Really? And you think you're going to get into the U.S. and get this tested?
Well,
no.
here's another interesting thing that I've learned. So since I have been so active in what I'm doing, I have learned that universities themselves have medical miracles that they are told that they cannot pursue because their sponsors that are sponsoring it see it as, ooh, this could be a
Competition.
problem for our stuff. So we will buy it successfully and just put it on the shelf. Well, you know what? As a
I don't like that.
philanthropically driven platform, that won't happen. That won't happen.
Right.
So if it's really working, guess what? The markets will solve the markets. So I don't have to solve the economics to it. What I have to do is be transparent and be able to validate that these things work. And here's the greatest part. This isn't a 10-year journey. This isn't, we're inventing something.
Mm-hmm.
This is, hey, here it is. It already works. But we haven't been able to get anyone to give us the unbiased scientific validation. That's what we can do. We're the only people that can do it. In fact, the universities have given us lists of their donors to go after to fund the stuff going on in their own school because they're technically not allowed to contact their own donors.
I love it.
Is that the craziest thing?
Yes. Yes, isn't it interesting?
So-
it's politics. It's just the politics of dancing.
But
It's
Faith,
what it
the
is.
fun part for me is I come to this equation without any politics.
Yeah.
Right? I'm totally
Blank slate,
transparent
man.
about, look, here's
Yep.
what I want to do. I just want to find the better outcomes for people.
Right.
And I want people to be able to participate in that. And philanthropy doesn't have a rule set that says you can do this or you can't do that.
You do what you want. It's your money.
Exactly.
Wait,
and
it's
and that's
it's a
the beauty.
write-off.
Thank you for watching. The fact is, we can't do this alone. Please reach out to us. Visit our website. We all win in this one. Thank you.